we've come this far, I might as well finish it off. So one of the neat things about, being in digital here is that I can, zoom in and zoom out. Like sometimes at an event, I mean, this thing is a good 12 feet wide, so it's hard to see if things are even and whatnot. Like I know I want this logo in the center, but I can do some adjustments now that I'm got everything tiled together. Like compositionally, I can make the digital file more in line with what the intent was with the design. So generally speaking, I want these things a little bit lower. I'm okay bringing that over. Basically, if there's like a little bit of a hierarchy fight going on, yes, I think this particular one can calm down a little bit. So even on the actual file, it's not the case. It's sort of like the thinking with these things is if they're equal in hierarchy, one shouldn't be upstaging the other too badly. This one I think is kind of a bridge from those two rectilinear ones on the right. So it kind of sizes up, but it makes to make it spaced. I like that's better. This is kind of a nice logo. I don't mind having it be big. It's not as heavy in value overall. But I did move it over a little bit. I like that. So I'm just kind of doing spacing. Now that I look at this one can come up and the Métis New Caledonia can go down. Just scale it up a little bit. Bring it in. I like that a little bit better. Same thing. This one's pretty loud. I think it needs to scale down and come up a tiny bit. So Command T. So down in size, up in position. Bring it in a little bit. That's a little bit better. These questions, I think, could fill in a little bit at the top there, so I'll select these questions. This is the cosmetic surgery. You can be sure that this is what everybody does for skin tags and moles, and maybe somebody needs a little bit of a... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Option, that's what I wanted. There, I like that. It kind of lines up with the horizon there. The bottom one looks a little small. Let's pump it up a little bit. Don't want to select the part of the tree. How should these stories be shared? How should they indeed? Yeah, that seems a little bit like it matches a little bit better. Cool. So now I'm gonna just do global color on the whole thing. Maybe like that's a good cross section for. So first I want to adjust levels, have a little more contrast, and then I'm gonna do saturation, and then that should be good. So Command L for levels. Let's watch what happens here. I usually suck these in. You know what I mean? See what I'm doing on the light side? Generally printing prints 10-15% lighter than what you see on screen, so if I want it to be subtle, yeah. That, and the reason why, yeah. Bring this up a little bit, darken, a little bit like that. It's okay for it to be light because it'll print darker. Beauty. Just kind of cruise around and see what's going on here. The color looks better already. It's neat, you can see those felt strokes. You know, like you can see the felt strokes on the tree. Hey, look at that. My tree is still looking... I'm too lazy to move it. Actually, I'll just move it. Here, I thought I cropped it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the tree, Command T, grab this corner, grab Command, and just slide it over. There, now it's the way that I want it to be. I was saying you can see the brush strokes, or the felt strokes, which is nice. You know, that's what I mean, legibility. But because those little hot whites come through, you can actually read the text. A lot of that text you wouldn't be able to read unless the hot white punches through. Even though it's small text, because we work so hard to make that contrast, you can read it. So why don't we like punch that orange up a little bit and see what happens if we go give us some saturation. Ooh, yeah. I mean, we can see what's happening on the orange, you know, like that's too much. So what probably going to do is I'm going to back off and just do the whole thing globally. Some saturation. Oh yeah, it's coming alive. It's coming alive. It's looking more like it looks on paper with the felts. And you can overshoot the landing digitally because the saturation is less in printing. So even if your digital looks a little bit electric when it prints, see, that's looking real good now. Let's see how that comes out in the orange. Yeah, that text looks good. Can see the brush strokes. I don't see the seams. Let's go right up the middle. You know, seams gone, more or less. And this is the important part. What you're delivering is not a JPEG, but I will deliver a JPEG, and a JPEG does not support transparency. And JPEGs are slightly smaller in size, so they're handy to look around. But if someone wants to produce this thing, that's the point. That's the point of this whole exercise, is you're not sending pixels where there ought not to be any. You see what I'm saying? So you know this thing's going to print clean because you're not sending any what you think is white and is actually not white. You know there is no white. Like the paper pixels have been eliminated for the most part. Except for where you want them, and even then it's okay to have them be slightly gray in the ice, slightly gray on the hide, slightly gray on the hammer handle. See what I'm saying? Slightly gray, very slightly. You don't see it on screen, but you'll see it in print because, like I said, you just will. Anyways, that's it. Word.